Mayor, members of the commission, under the direction of City Manager Barry, had the opportunity to talk a little bit about recreation in the recreation department, and it's a great opportunity. So I'd like to start a little bit with just the history of recreation, kind of give folks a basis of what recreation is, and then talk a little bit about the department. So if you will look at actually the one behind you is actually a little bit better, but if you want to look over there too and follow along, I got a PowerPoint presentation that'll kind of go with it. So a little bit about the history of recreation. Originally, recreation was just for the elite, the royalty, the wealthy, nobility. It wasn't something that everyone participated in. Those common folk, the only time they really got to be involved in anything that would be considered recreation was around religious ceremonies, fertility rites, wars, just due to the fact that you had a large standing group of men with sometimes nothing to do, and so recreation would come out of that. Celebrations, downtime, national celebrations. Probably one of the biggest events in recreation was the establishment of Yellowstone National Park as the first national park in the world at the time, and it kind of showed the direction that recreation was moving in, that it was something that was important, even on the national level, and that it was important to set aside lands for the use of, preservation, and also for the use of recreation, for people to enjoy, just to have lands for people to recreate in. The emergence of modern recreation, as people's physiological needs were met quicker and easier, there was more time available for leisure and recreation. So originally, most people spent their time just trying to put clothes on their back, food in their mouth, and there was very little time for people to recreate, to have leisure. And so as the Industrial Revolution came along and there was people's physiological needs were met much quicker, there was this freedom of time to do something. And that is where what we consider modern recreation to come from. You started getting organized sports, the baseball teams, the different things to either give people something to go to as a means of relaxing, a means of leisure, or something to participate in. For people who wanted to do something, they could be involved in organized sports. Around the turn of the century there, you have the development of the car, the railroad, which now became a means of travel, and travel just for the sake of recreation became very popular. In fact, a lot of the national parks had railroads that took folks straight into the national park, and it was kind of a merger between the government and the railroads as a way to develop the railroads and also expose people to the national parks. So it was because of that meeting of physiological needs that allowed people to have more time to recreate and to have leisure. So what is recreation? Recreation is a huge umbrella. One person once said, if you sleep 8 hours and then you work for 8 hours, you have 8 hours of free time. And what do you do with that free time? So there's a variety of different things, and we'll touch on them right here, that fall under recreation. The little graph there kind of has a breakdown. It's from the labor statistics. As you can see, a majority of people spend part of that 8 hours of recreation watching TV. That's half the slice of the pie right there is watching TV. And then the rest of it breaks down into a whole bunch of different activities, from playing games, relaxing thinking, reading, socializing, and such like that. So one of the facets of recreation is outdoor recreation. Here in Raton, it's one of our biggest aspects of the recreation we offer, from camping, boating, hiking, to hunting, fishing, nature watching, the different kind of motorsports that are out there, and the federal, state, and municipal parks that allow people to recreate. So we have outdoor recreation as a facet. Then you have travel, vacation, tourism, where, they're the Griswolds vacation. cruises, theme parks, destination vacations, resorts, something to fill that leisure time that now is available that it wasn't before. The arts, you have music, art, dance, theater. And as we talk about these, I like to think everything that's associated with those things, because if I was trying to find a good statistic that showed the economic impact of recreation and what it really is. And if you take into consideration everything that's involved, from the personnel, the payroll, the manufacturing, the facilities that all go towards recreation, it is the largest component of an industrial society's economy, is what people spend either participating in recreation or purchasing or manufacturing or employing, all in that recreation industry. So the arts, and we're very well known for our arts. In fact, I got the picture of the Schuler Theater there. All those things kind of fall within the scope of recreation. Sports. You got your professional, your collegiate, your high school, all your youth sports, and we're all very well known with that. I mean, if you think just the money that was spent and developed and made in the Triple Crown race and the Belmont Stakes, that just in that one event alone, millions of dollars, and that's just one event. If you take into consideration, well, I know how much my family spends just on Little League and the purchasing of shoes and bats and, paying registration fees and things like that. So another big aspect of recreation is just the sports. Entertainment. And that's, entertainment is a very broad, because there's a lot of people, different aspects of what people consider entertainment to be, but film, music, television, radio, streaming, all the different things that can be done with computers and console gaming, social media, literature. Just think about that if you were to take that one aspect of the recreation industry out of an economy, what the void that would be if you got rid of all the film, all the music, all the television, which from that first graph was half of what people do in their recreation time is television. There would be a tremendous void. And to be honest, I've never seen a grandma and grandpa get that excited playing video games, so that's probably a stage picture. Food. Most people don't consider food a recreation, but I'd like to see how many people probably went out to eat this last weekend, not because, oh my gosh, I've got to have something in my stomach, but hey, let's go share a meal together to have a good time. Otherwise everybody would just stay at home and eat. But the opportunity to go out and to go to a restaurant, is recreation. Ice cream. Ice cream is not a necessity, but it's something fun to do. If you talk to my dad, it's a necessity.
That's right.
He lives on ice cream. But so the whole restaurant industry, you get into the consumer aspect of recreation and the clothes, the people who go shopping just for leisure, just to shop. Not to pick on the lady folk, but I know that tends to be a very fun pastime to go do some shopping. Even the shopping for automobiles. If we all had the same car, then it wouldn't be recreation. But the ability that we can go and pick and choose and make, it becomes an emotional purchase a lot of times. And there's even recreation vehicles where you buy specifically because you're going to use that vehicle for recreation purchases. Merchandise, fishing, hunting, all sorts of different retail and commercial aspects. Then you get into the fitness, self-improvement, volunteerism, religion. All those are part of those 8 hours of time that aren't being occupied by work or sleep. And so going to exercise, some people wouldn't consider that recreation if you're sweating enough, but it is considered recreation from the hobbies. Even taking extra night classes at a community college just for self-improvement. Going to church attendance is considered a recreational activity. Community volunteer and politics. I don't know, some folks in Washington, it's become a career for them, but it would be considered something that you do on your free time. There's an aspect of recreation called marginal recreation, and that's where you get into those things that are questionable morally, as prostitution, pornography, gambling, recreational drug use, abuse, alcohol consumption. Those are all considered recreation, but due to their nature, they're they're borderline. They're marginal recreation activities. So some of the reasons recreation is important. Economically, if you think of all the aspects, whether people consuming, people providing recreation opportunities, the manufacture of recreation goods, the advertising of recreation, whether it be sports events or films or however, the maintenance of facilities and equipment, and just the employing of recreation personnel, it is a huge facet of any economy. Recreation is. Community quality of life. What are you going to do in your community for fun? Everybody living in whatever community wants something to do in their free time. In those 8 hours of the day where they're not at work or asleep, they want something to do. Societal health. You can determine a healthy society by the types of recreation they engage in. And in different studies, you can study like the history of Rome, and when Rome was big into the gladiators and just the decadence of their society, you could judge by their recreational activities how they were functioning as a society. And many people have done a similar study with just the United States now as itself, and kind of the recreation that we, and particularly our youth, are engaging in is reflecting the health of our society. Community curb appeal. What people want to see, and I've mentioned this before, and not to pick on any of the other departments, but folks going on vacation or folks looking for a place to stay, they assume that the community has a fire department. They assume that the trash is being picked up. So that is, you don't get a call from somebody coming to visit your town and say, I would really like to see your transfer station. There's more of, I'd really like to see your parks, your recreation facilities. What kind of youth programming do you have to offer? In fact, just a couple days ago, I got a call from the new pediatrician here in town asking me that exact question. So we're new in town, what is there for my kids to do? Been to the aquatic center, we're coming there today, and I had her, well, if you're coming over, let's come into my office and we'll sit down and I'll tell you what the things are to do. But that is what people are looking for when they come into a town. And so it's a big marketing aspect of your community is the recreation, either facilities or amenities that you have to offer to folks when they come into your community. So a little bit about Raton's Department of Parks and Rec. It was officially established in 2010. The mission statement, the mission of the City of Raton's Department of Parks and Recreation is to enhance the health, wellness, and quality of life for the citizens of Raton, regional residents, and visitors to Raton by providing and promoting wholesome recreational activities, well-maintained recreational facilities, and customer service-oriented staff. And so that is what we as a department strive for, is to offer those things to a community, wholesome activities that'll give quality of life for our residents and attract those who are either out of our community or traveling through, invite them to come and stay here and to explore our town. Evolution, originally the commission of the department was to open the aquatic center, to open the pool. Since then, it has evolved into just from an aquatic center to a full-fledged, multifaceted park and recs department, where we do a variety of different things. Just in case anybody's wondering, this is our 5th summer at the aquatic center. It's hard to believe, but we've been going at it for 5 years, starting this summer. So it's amazing. Employment, there's one full-time staff, full-time employee, that's myself. Then depending on the season, we have 10 to 12 off-season employees, mostly obviously working for the aquatic center to maintain and staff that. In the summer, we bump it up just because of our additional hours, and all those employees are part-time or seasonal. What do we do? Some of the projects. We developed the Climax Canyon Nature Trail and a management plan that is in the process of going through the chains sometime to be presented to you as a commission for your approval should you decide to approve it. Fencing and signage for Climax Canyon, a landscape around the aquatic center, the horseshoe pits, which we'll have a tournament next weekend, spearheaded by Larry Gallegos as part of the state tournaments. The Veterans Memorial and Big Praver project, which was completed last November. The mural in the Aquatic Center. Some upcoming and proposed projects. Obviously the dog park, sand volleyball court, the bocce courts, disc golf. There's plans for amphitheater. And I personally would really like to see carriages for the Ripley Park Canyons, but whether that ever happens or not, I don't know, but I would like to see that happen. What we do as far as events, we did the baseball bash for 2 years. We hosted the Raton Osos for 2 years. The Polar Bear Plunge, we did it was our 2nd year. Shades of the Southwest Art Show we do in partnership with the Raton Arts and Humanities Council. We've done that for 3 years. Our Aqua Easter Egg Hunt was our 3rd year this year. Our Climax Canyon 5K, along with the Master of the Mountains Adventure Relay, are both. Actually, it'll be the 3rd year for the Master of the Mountain. Climax Canyon was the 2nd year this past April. Black Friday at the Aquatic Center. We did that for the first time last year. Helped with the Reindeer Dash and promote that. Our New Year's Eve party at the pool. Rockin' Wings and Wheels last year. And some of the upcoming events we're working on is the Gay City Music Festival. And trying to put together a Santa Fe Trail Marathon and the Santa Fe Trail Trifecta, which would be a bike race or a bike run. It's careful how to say that because you say bike run, it could be motorcycles. It's not motorcycles, it's pedal bikes. And it'd be on the Santa Fe Trail. So those are kind of things that events we do. Some of the programs we either offer or help support. Taekwondo, water aerobics, aqua zumba, aqua yoga. We did our fly fishing clinic for the first time this year. We actually had someone who came down from Colorado Springs every Thursday for 6 weeks to take our fly fishing class. I don't know whether they just wanted to drive a lot or this was the only one offered in a couple 100 miles, but they came every day or every week. Vermejo Brunch has been very successful. Fencing, Joe Rodman's social dance, we've been doing that for I think 4 years now. And of course we offer swim lessons every summer because swimming should be a lifelong skill that everyone should have. Who we work with Raton Little League because they use our facilities. The Mexico State Parks, we partner with them on some of the, for example, the Polar Bear Plunge, the Master of the Mountains. Youth basketball, we help them do their registrations. The public schools, because of their use of the baseball and softball fields. We'll have lots of interactions with the Lodgers Tax Board, along with Raton Main Street and Chamber of Commerce and Grow Raton, in the efforts to promote our area. Some of our outreach and marketing, we manage 3 websites, ratonrecreation.com, which is the park and rec website, ratonmom.com, which is the event website for the Master of the Mountain Adventure Relay, and visitraton.org, which grew out of a necessity when we planned the first Raton Master of the Mountain. There wasn't really a good website that kind of just gave everybody a one-stop place of where can I eat, where can I stay, and what can I do. And so we maintain that. Have Facebooks for all the other ones, and do a lot of work with KRTN and KCRT. They give them, for lack of a better word, a shout out for all the support they give the department and the Aquatic Center in keeping people informed of what we do. Our certifications, I have a degree in recreation management from Brigham Young University. We have 3 certified pool operators to run the pool according to the Environment Department's rules and regulations. A variety of different WSI, which are water safety instructors, to offer the swim lessons. I am a certified lifeguard instructor, so rather than hiring someone out to come in and train our lifeguards, which is actually a significant cost, I got certified so that I could do that, and that way we can certify lifeguards whenever we need to, whether it be 1 or 10, and not have to have someone come in and do it. Also maintain my wilderness first responder, so that way when we're doing events as Climax Canyon 5K or the Master of the Mountain Adventure Relay or some of those events that are in an outdoor setting, kind of have that level of somebody might get hurt, I might be able to do something about it, hopefully. Other responsibilities, we do the routine maintenance on the Aquatic Center, equipment, the HVAC, the pumps and such like that. I sit on the Northeastern State Tourism Board, so I represent Raton at the state level on the tourism board. Help with SCORP, which is the State Comprehensive Outdoor Recreation Plan, and that's being spearheaded by state parks in an effort to come up with a plan for what it is that Raton, or not Raton, but the state has to offer as far as outdoor recreation. Work with Keep New Mexico Beautiful on landscaping projects, which involves grant writing and just the general marketing and promotion of the Aquatic Center and the various events that the Department of Park puts on. And yes, I even do clean toilets sometimes. That is my presentation. Thank you very much.
Do you do windows?
You know what's funny is I actually had a conversation with my staff. Dirty windows is one of my pet peeves because you can wipe something on the wall and maybe not see it, but you can't get away from seeing streaks on a window. And so if there is nothing to do in the Aquatic Center, they all know that they can clean windows. So.
Well, Mayor and Commission, this is your opportunity to ask any questions that you might have as far as our recreation program. But, you know, it's typical that we talk about basic services that the city offers. And as a small municipality, that's where we focus really. But, you know, in the last 5 years, you can see a lot has happened on the quality of life issues. And Jared has spearheaded a lot of initiatives towards that, just improving the quality of life in Raton. And you can see there's a lot of important functions there that make Raton more attractive and more marketable for us. So I sure appreciate everything that Jared does as far as the initiatives that he gets going.
Thank you.
What kind of numbers are we getting at the pool?
Our numbers, actually, we had a bit of a dip. Our first year was phenomenal, and I got to be honest. If every year was going to be like our first year, I would have a lot less hair on my head from the stress of having that many people. And then with just some of the different changes as far as administration and the different hours we were able to offer, we kind of went into a bit of a slump, and now we're coming out of that. Since we've been consistent with our hours and consistent with what we offer, our numbers are increasing. In fact, we've done in the first week of summer, we've done better than we have in the other first weeks of summer, not including our very first summer. So things are improving. In fact, we noticed today we had 12 cars in the parking lot, and 6 of those cars had Colorado license plates on them. So,
Are you tracking numbers of people using Climax Canyon as well? Or
we're attempting to. Al and John have a little sign-up, little envelope box there where people can kind of check who goes through. It hasn't been very reliable because most people don't use it, but just in general, if you ever go up there, the odds of not running into somebody is difficult. So there's a lot of folks coming and going out of there.
Jared, speaking of Climax Canyon, you mentioned fencing. What is your intention there?
There was an arrangement made with CenturyLink. They wanted to run either fiber or something along the poles. In exchange for access to that, they gave us split rail fencing and then paid for the Climax Canyon sign that now hangs where the City of Bethlehem sign is. And so what we would like to do is put that split rail fencing just kind of there along the gate, just kind of dress it up, make it look like kind of like a park. It really wouldn't have that much, I guess for lack of a better word, access or crowd control, but it would just aesthetically be very nice. So that's ready to rock and roll.
Well, and thank you very much for your hard work, because it really is an important part of a healthy community. And
Absolutely.
I'm, as we all do, hope that we can increase a lot of our recreational areas. I do have a question about, I was told today that the Taekwondo is, the instructor is no longer going to be able to work on that.
The instructor is Ed V. Hill, and he kind of goes through phases. He's very good in the fall,
Right.
and then as summer comes with people traveling and vacationing and stuff, his numbers dwindle. He did tell me the last time that I saw him that he was, there was somebody who expressed interest in taking over the program, but it probably wouldn't be until the fall again that would happen. So there's another woman out of Des Moines who has expressed interest in offering a Taekwondo class. So my hope is that if Ed and his group can't do it, that we'll be able to bring somebody in and still be able to offer Taekwondo.
Or at least some kind of martial art.
Right.
Yeah. And did the zip line fall off of our wish list?
It's still there.
Oh, good.
It's part of a packet that's being out there. It's on the list, and it'll be evaluated as we move forward.
I can't tell you how many times I've heard people say, geez, I wish we had a zip line.
They're fun. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
We'll have to check into the liability issues, of course, but
Right.
I think if it's something we can do, we should do it.
Wish list.
Mr. Chatterley, since I'm the liaison from the commission, I meet with Jared once a month and we talk other times, and I'd like you to expound a little bit and tell the public about the Man of the Mountain. This year you've already got contacts from as far away as Canada,
Yes.
if I'm not mistaken.
You
This
are-
has the potential to become a huge draw to northeast New Mexico. It really does.
The Master of the Mountain is it's an adventure race. It's a 4-component race. It starts with a 6-mile run. Basically, they're up in Sugar Canyon State Park. The runners then come back to the south boat ramp where they get in their kayak or watercraft and basically paddle the perimeter of the lake, which roughly is about 2 miles. They then get on their bikes and bike from the south boat ramp down through town out to the Whittington Center, where they have the Mountain Man Rendezvous, the 555 entrance of the Whittington, where they then participate in a tactical shotgun shoot. And so it has grown over the years. Our first year, well, actually our first and second year, you could only participate either as a solo individual or a 4-person relay team. And we got a lot of feedback saying that there weren't people who were quite physically fit enough to do the whole event, but trying to get 4 people's schedules synced together to come out as a 4-person team was difficult. So this year we've modified it where you can come as a solo individual, a 2-person, 3-person, or 4-person team. So there's no longer the excuse of I don't have enough people to do it. So we have had interest from a group of 8 people, 4 couples from Canada, from Saskatchewan, Canada, contact me. They're planning a kind of vacation. They're going to fly into Denver, go to a concert there, come do our Master of the Mountain on the way to do some stuff in Santa Fe, and then head out from there. So I like to say it is now an international event because we have folks out of the country. So that is our plan.
Thank you, Jared.
Thank you.